The Walt Disney Company has taken an extraordinary step in the lawsuits that are dealing with the Walt Disney World Resort and what they allege to be retaliation from the state of Florida, the governor of Florida, against them for their political speech. What are those extraordinary steps that Disney is taking? Well, they have tucked mousetail and they are now running away. They have dropped all of their lawsuits except for one complaint about the First Amendment. Now, why does that matter? Well, folks, it seems as if Disney is now placing all of their hopes and dreams upon a single allegation, which is the most problematic. We have a feeling that we know why they're doing it. We'll explain it right now. All right, folks, welcome back to another video of excellence where we endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and in this case, we are diving headfirst into the strategery of a particular corporation, that being the Walt Disney Company. They're in quite the mess when it comes to Florida. The Disney Company decided to take an official stance when it came to bedroom issues and when state-sponsored and state-controlled schools might teach that via official curriculum. Now, Disney is in a very troubling spot because, well, once they did so, Florida legislatures began to look into what was going on with Disney World and the Reedy Creek Improvement District. What's that, you might ask? Well, it's the special district that was supposed to be a unique and separate local government. But maybe Disney was doing some things with that local government that they should not have been doing. An inspector has been called, a special inspector called by the Attorney General of Florida to look into this now. Criminal prosecutions might actually happen in the future. Allegations have risen such that Disney should be quite worried. And the total price tag for Disney, if they were doing things that they should not have been doing, could be not billions, not tens of billions, but even up to $1 trillion in what Disney will be paying as a result of losing this special district that was unlike any other. We're talking about a company that had essentially a Vatican City governmental power sitting in Central Florida. Now that is gone. With Disney now deciding that they are going to peg everything they have on the First Amendment and on the idea that they were retaliated against, something that, by the way, we believe is extremely problematic for Disney and actually exposes them to even more danger, we brought in an expert in the area to talk with us about why Disney is doing so. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a fantastic conversation with Ron Coleman, the expert and well-known prolific lawyer. Folks, you're going to enjoy this, I believe, as we dive into why the mouse is taking a very risky maneuver. We've got Ron for a little bit longer, and Ron, I'm so glad you're here because we do have breaking news, and this definitely gets into the legal arena. This definitely gets into Disney and me not understanding what they're up to. Folks, hang tight. I will try to explain this as best I can in the most concise manner that I possibly can, which we all know I'm not good at that, but we'll try. Here we go. This out of CNBC, and having just come out within the hour. Disney drops all but free speech claim in political retaliation suit against DeSantis. That means every single other claim is gone. They're dropping everything except the free speech. We'll talk about why this is so problematic for the company. I have no idea what they're up to. Ron, hopefully you can elucidate what in the world is going on here. Key points, Disney amended its federal lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to focus solely on its First Amendment claim that the governor politically retaliated against the company. Disney last week had asked to drop its other claims in the case because they are being actively pursued in a separate state-level lawsuit in Florida. It's the latest wrinkle stemming from Disney's battle with DeSantis that began when the company publicly denounced the controversial classroom bill, and we will not go by its propaganda name. Everybody out there knows what we're talking about. All right, so I'll leave this on the screen if folks want to read it, but Ron, let me go to you, and you walk us through this. I'll briefly just say this is why this makes no sense to me, why Disney would do it. The state of Florida came out and shut down a special district which was in the power of the legislature of the state of Florida. The special district is not Disney. The special district, if it is Disney, that is a horrendous, just calamitous kind of situation for Disney to be in if that is brought to light. If Disney claims that the First Amendment was, that their First Amendment rights were revoked or infringed upon, because they were damaged by political speech, then ergo Disney is saying that they and Reedy Creek, the prior special district, are one and the same. And then we have a situation where a local government, or local governments, when we include the pseudo cities that existed within it, were completely and utterly captured by a corporation. What do you think they are up to with this play?
They're up to damage control because, as Andrew explained so exquisitely on his podcast and on your show and on my podcast, Disney never had a shot on its claims under Florida law, and they never had any basis for getting around the fact that they've got to litigate this in Florida state court. You can go to federal court to do all kinds of things, but one of them is not suing an entity or a person who is in the same state as you are on diversity grounds. So, in other words, this Florida state law issue or any contractual issue, it's all got to be done in Florida state court. Now, the First Amendment claim under federal law can stay in federal court. It's a terrible claim, but it seems that it's most likely a placeholder. I would not be surprised if the judge in the federal case keeps the federal case stayed pending the outcome of the Florida lawsuit, which has already been not preliminary decided, but because the motion to dismiss by Disney has been dismissed, or the motion was dismissed, therefore the case goes forward. There's going to be some exquisite discovery. There's almost certainly going to be a ruling in favor of Florida. That is going to bear very strongly on how the federal court views any First Amendment retaliation claim.
So, Ron, let me ask you this. Here's, and this is breaking, so we're all just speculating and getting into this a little bit to figure out what's going on. But my first thought on this is exactly what you have here, that this is a placeholder. For the optics of the situation, it looks very badly if Disney drops all of its allegations, all of its complaints against Florida. Then it is only being, on the defense. So, from a PR standpoint, they need to have a suit still standing. That said, I think you're exactly right, because this almost certainly has to percolate through the state level before you ever get to the federal level, which means this can just hang out there. And then at which point that it gets to that level, they can drop it if it's not to their advantage. But does that sound like what we think they're doing? Culture, you've got a thought.
Yeah, I do, because this is an age-old adage I'm about to say. In politics and in law, if you have no power, you delay.
Well, this is delayed, all right.
That's all this is. Would you agree, Ron? I mean, obviously you're the pro here.
It's toothless delay.
It is.
It's the kind of delay that you do when you wish you had never done it in the first place, which they surely were. But they're used to getting their way. I mean, and I'm sure their lawyers told them this. There's no lawyer who wouldn't. It would be malpractice not to. You've got no claim in federal court, and we're still in Florida. Even if you go to federal court, you're not going to the Northern District of California or the District of DC or the Southern District of New York, where things always go the way we want them to in our political, part of the spectrum. This is still Florida, and Florida is something of a mixed bag. I have litigated in the Southern District of Florida and found some very interesting experiences for myself there. But we're still in Florida. Federal judges know what their job is. You're not going to get that sort of deference that Hollywood gets in California.
Ron, do you think that Disney would even want to win such a suit, or do you think that they would wish to not ever go through with this, lest they reveal that they are one and the same with a local government that was supposed to be entirely separate from their own?
Well, there's no getting at. I mean, that's going to happen in the Florida suit, right? In the Florida state court suit, and they can't get away from that. That's like you can't. It's funny. I'm involved in a case right now where one side doesn't want to even, doesn't even want to fight over what it's being sued over anymore. And the other side is absolutely positively determined to have a lawsuit. And, we're going to probably go to trial in 2 weeks. Oh, well.
Wow,
but,
that's painful.
That's what happens when you mess around with the big guys. Imagine Disney thinking that nothing could be bigger, nothing could be more powerful, nothing could be more institutionally impregnable than Disney. You can understand why they would think that, even though they didn't have enough bathrooms to go around for all the king's men.
That's right. And you know what's so funny about the shower thing is that all of these people have the kind of money that it affects their life not one iota to have a shower installed. So who cares? But they cared because it was pettiness. And folks, that is the end of this conversation for today. But the commentary begins. No, this is not just a group of experts speaking to all of you as if we are on some sort of mighty cliff above you. No, we want to hear what you have to say. Please drop a comment down below. We covet your comments. We care about your feedback. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. And if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. This conversation came from The Pro Show. Don't forget that it's live every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a wonderful time bringing that to you. And if you can make it live and listen in on your way home or while you're at the gym or what have you, well, we would love to have you be a part of that conversation with us. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.